Okay, folks, section 511 says factoring completely. Now, we got a lot of stuff to go over today because we've learned a lot of stuff. And now we're going to put it all together, and we're going to factor some things completely, all the way down to the end. Okay, now you may need to, or no, you will need to. I want you to pause right now, and I want you to copy this down. Okay? These are the steps in factoring, so pause and copy. Okay? All right, now, you've just copied that down. All right, you've got it in front of you. You're going to need to keep that in front of you for every problem that you do from this section. And really from factoring as a whole, you want to keep this in your head. I'm going to go over it for a moment. And first thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that the terms are in the correct order. Remember, we're going to look at the factors. We're going to find out the degree of each term and make sure the ones with the highest degree are in the front and with the lowest degrees are in the back. Now, if they tie, if they have the same degree, we go alphabetical by their variables. Okay? Now we'll see something like that later, so we'll get a sense of that. All right? Now the next thing that you do is factor out anything that you can, anything that goes into all of the terms, including a negative in front of the leading term. That's the term in the front. Okay, we don't want that to be negative, so take that out too. The third thing that we're going to do is we're going to count the terms. If there are two terms, look for the difference of two squares. We've been doing this. If there are three terms, the first thing you should do is ask yourself, is it a perfect square? Okay? If it's not a perfect square, is there a number other than 1 in front of x squared? Well, if there's not, then we know it's going to be x plus or minus something times x plus or minus something. We factor the constant term at the back, and we see which pair of factors add up to equal the middle term's coefficient. Okay? If there is something in front of the x squared, yes, then use the guess and check method or the quadratic formula. Okay? Now, number 4 says, and this is the last thing, we definitely need to put this in our little repertoire. Okay? Make sure when you think you are done factoring that each binomial or trinomial cannot be factored anymore. Did I just say repertoire? Repertoire? My French students, is that right? Okay, check me out there. I don't know. Put that in our repertoire. All right, we want to make sure that it is factored all the way down to the end, can't do anything else. Now, I'm going to look at example 1 and I'm going to go through my list. Make sure the terms are in the correct order. Well, I can see that they are. Into the 4th, into the 3rd, into the 2nd. Okay? Factor out anything that you can, including a negative from the leading term. Okay, well, 4 goes into all of these, so I'm going to take out a negative 4 because I don't want this to be negative. And also n squared, I can pull that from each of the terms. Okay, so then I ask myself, well, what's left inside? Well, negative 4n squared times n squared gives me this term. Negative 4n squared times negative 10n gives me this term. Okay? Negative 4n squared times positive 25 gives me that term. All right, now I've factored out everything that goes into each one of them. Now I'm going to look at what's left in here. Okay? The second step says count the terms. If there are 2 terms, well, there's not. There's 3 left in there. If there are 3 terms, is it a perfect square? Well, I don't know. I know that this is. Okay? That's n squared. I know that that is. Okay? That's 25. Those are both perfect squares. Okay? Now, what I want to know is the square root of the first one, that is n, times the square root of the last one, 5, times 2. Does this equal the middle term? It does. 10n. We don't worry about the sign on that. All right? So I know it's a perfect square. Okay, well, what do I write, Mr. C? Well, negative 4n squared. Remember, we factored that out at the beginning. And I know that this thing is a perfect square, binomial. It is going to be the square root of the first term and the square root of the last term. And since 10, the middle coefficient is negative, we stick a negative in the middle. Now, I'm almost done. I look at number 4 and it says, make sure when you think you are done factoring that each binomial or trinomial cannot be factored anymore. Well, this is factored as much as it can be. N minus 5 doesn't factor to anything else. Okay? So we're done. We factored it completely. Next video.